It's been a few months since we last posted on the Starlet, but since then we've got absolute shit ton done. So now we've got the ceramic coatings done on the rocker cover, on the outside of the head there, exhaust manifold, dump pipe, rehousing the turbo. The weld-ons for the Yaris coils are all done, they've turned out awesome. We have the fuel rail now ceramic coated as well, the intake manifold, intake pipe, and the intercooler has been done in a special coating that actually increases the cooling efficiency, so should see some lower rate temps there, which is exciting. But as you see this now, that's just about how it's going to be on race day. I need to put the radiator back in, paint the firewall. Yeah, so there's plenty of room now, easy to work on, which is pretty good. So we're hoping now with the new coatings we should see about 350 horsepower at the front wheels. So keep in mind that's still with the standard pistons, standard rods, just has a Model A steel head gasket and all the ceramic coatings added, so it's pretty awesome. And now since being kicked from the track, had to get a roll cage put in. Race seat, harnesses, so that's all turned out pretty awesome. Got to do some new sheeting on here again to cover all this up. And yeah, get some proper mounts done on that dash. We've also ripped out the whole inside the door trims, the window regs and glass. Replaced that with an aluminium panel and wrapped that in carbon fibre. That's turned out really nice. So, the door's nice and light now. Put the parachute on the back as well now. So as I've said in previous videos, the car's gone a 10.58 at 133 miles an hour. Again, still standard engine, so with these new coatings and stuff on now, hopefully turn the boost up around the 25 psi mark and should see about 6 to 650 horsepower at all four wheels. We also went out, bought some titanium nuts for the exhaust there. They look pretty awesome. It's about all they're good for. From Turbo Smart we have a oil pressure regulator for the turbo. It's regulated at 40 psi. 40mm wastegate. And the race port blow valve. We currently hold the world record for the highest horsepower 5E in the world. The highest we know of was over in Sri Lanka, and they made 295 horsepower at the front tyres on a standard engine. The engine didn't last long before it threw a rod through the block. So for us to do 300 horsepower last year through a whole race season is pretty awesome. I did chat with the guys that achieved that over in Sri Lanka, and they said that you know, based on tuning and, you know, timing maps and things like that, it came down to the fuel they were using. They're not actually allowed E85 in the country. They're only allowed to use their unleaded pump gas, which they mix with their Sunoco race fuel, and that's about it. So for me to make 300 horsepower in E85 and last, it's safe to say that the fuel is the reason that the engines held together. So we're inside the engine building room, just to give you an idea of how small these engines are. We've got a regular can here of Red Bull, 250 mils. So as you can see, they are very bloody small. So these are just the standard cast pistons. We're using the ceramic coatings on those. And just got some 2-pack paint, same colour as the outside, just with the block. If I was to give my estimate though, I mean, we ran a 1058 at 133 miles an hour with about 450 440 horsepower at all four wheels. So this year to have over 600 horsepower at the wheels, possibly around 650. With a decent launch, maybe around a 1.5, 1.4 60 foot. We should be up around the, you know, mid 149, maybe 150 mile an hour mark. Maybe a 9.7, 9.6. I'd love to replay this video in a few months' time if we actually get something close to that, so that'll be pretty awesome. But anyway, because it's in the unknown, we don't actually know where it's going to go, what it's capable of. We don't have any other competitors up against that. I don't actually know of any other twin four-cylinder engine car in the world that's running into the 10s at the moment anyway. There's quite a few over in Europe that run the Golfs and the VR6, which is a 2.8 litre six-cylinder, and again, twin of those. The fastest one of those over in Europe at the moment is standing at about a 9.3. So with almost half the engine literage, we also take out a lot of weight out of the car too. It will definitely help get it up and going, and less weight. Yeah, less weight, you know, not quite the amount of power, but yeah, we'll get there. What's my goal with the car, people ask. I mean, I started the build back in 2013, so it's coming on 5 years this year. And you know, back then my goal was to build a 10-second car, you know, with minimum budget. As anyone building cars can imagine, the budget soon explodes and it becomes a passion more than, you know, how much does this cost and things like that. In the end, it's just, you know, you throw the money at the car because you want to go faster and faster. So one last thing, who knows what this is? Guess the diameter? 8mm? Well, this is the thickness of the other rods we were using last year that we made 225 wheel horsepower with. And didn't throw a rod. So if this can make 225 horsepower, how much is this going to make?